So the backlash was swift and it was loud. So swift and so loud that Marianne Williamson put out a statement. This is presidential candidate Marianne Williamson. She's running against Joe Biden in the primaries. She's running as a Democrat. She did a Instagram live and had a conversation with this young lady. Her name is Lauren. She's on TikTok and she's on Instagram. I believe this conversation took place over on Instagram. And they talked about, a few different things, right? And one of those topics was about Israel and Palestine. That conversation opened up a lot of people to who Marianne really is and what she really is. One of the things that I believe Marianne Williamson is ignorant and uneducated. She's never held political office, but she's running for president of the United States. Aren't we tired of putting in people with no political experience? I know I am. During this particular segment of this conversation, she was condescending. She was gaslighting this young woman. She showed her ignorance to the topic, to the history of what's going on in this region and what's the conflict about and all of that stuff. She showed us her ignorance to it. She showed us her unwillingness to listen and learn in that moment. We all know that she's been in the news because of her temperament. Yeah, she gets angry real quick. We've seen her get real angry real quick and go charging after a black man. And I don't know if it was a campaign event. It was some sort of campaign event. And a black man who seemed to be a supporter of hers, but was challenging her on some things. And she didn't like that. And she went charging after him. This is also the woman who, she's a spiritual advisor to Oprah, right? And she's weird. Her thoughts are crazy. She's the one that says that, you can pray AIDS away. And if you have AIDS, then you didn't pray hard enough or something like that. Whack-a-doodle. But during this particular segment, she turned off a lot of possible voters, people who were open to her and some who were going to vote for her. Her whole demeanor, her ignorance, her gaslighting, her condescension turned off a lot of possible voters. Some of them were down in my comment section announcing that. And so as a result, Marianne had to put out a statement. Let's read it, shall we? Now, you can find this over on her Instagram account, if it's still there, because she was getting a lot of backlash down in the comment section of this post. This post has now pissed off the Zionists. Yeah. So this is what she says. I've always understood that Israel's siege of Gaza is morally indefensible and has caused immense suffering to Palestinians living there. But I had mistakenly assumed that Israel's withdrawal of settlements from Gaza in 2005 meant that the term occupation no longer applied to Israel's control of the Strip. I'm now learning that the UN and many leading international bodies and human rights organizations continue to regard Gaza as part of the occupied territories, so I stand corrected on my earlier remarks suggesting otherwise. But more importantly, as president, I will fight for a future free of siege and occupation, one where every Israeli and every Palestinian can live in safety, dignity, and freedom. I think it's a fine statement, especially that last part where she says that she's going to fight for the dignity and freedom of all people, right? So why are people upset down in her comment section over her saying that she will fight for dignity and freedom? That goes to tell you how these Zionists think. I mean, I would want a president that fights for dignity and freedom of all people. However, I don't think she's it. I don't think she's it at all. Her past tells me that she's a no. But what about you all? Does her statement change your mind? Those of you who were thinking about voting for her and then you decided you weren't going to vote for her, does this statement now put you back on path? Let me know down in the comments. Like I said, it's a no for me. Because, yeah, Marianne Williamson, she will never garner enough votes to become president of the United States. No third-party candidate, no other Democratic candidate, they will not garner enough votes to become president of the United States. You got to be strategic in your thinking. They will never garner enough votes to become president of the United States. And if they can't garner enough votes to become president of the United States, that means Donald Trump will become president of the United States. I don't care how you want to spin it. I don't care if you want to say it's going to be the Democrats' fault because they didn't put somebody else up over Joe Biden. I don't care how you spin it to make yourself sleep at night. These people will never garner enough votes to beat Donald Trump. Therefore, Donald Trump will become president of the United States. And that is on period.